What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to, probably I guess this is the second part to my manual swap on my new E36. So, this one, I don't know, it's been kind of a weird couple days because I thought this was going to be a much easier swap. Not necessarily difficulty-wise, but turns out there's a lot of little pieces that I found that I was missing. So, thankfully, you're able to get everything for these cars through like FCP Euro or Real OEM. There's a few different websites, but the issue is that we're running out of time. Just a lot of things going on in life right now. The car has to, I'm trying to get this manual swap done ASAP so that way I can get off the lift. The whole thing is just almost there. So, yeah, anyway, here's a couple clips, and we'll pick up from there. So this is to, I don't know, would this be past self or future self? Well, whichever video this goes in. This is not included in the regular filming because I didn't plan on working today, but Mike came on down and was like, let's put your clutch on. Let's get your transmission up. So here we are, putting the clutch up.
Of these, so can kind of offer some guidance.
Yeah, his is out there, the supercharged, oh, you can't see it, but his supercharged E36 is out there. So
which we need to do a clutch on too, so
yeah,
we'll be doing that next.
Yeah, we're getting some practice, but I just want to show you guys. This is the eBay Stage 2 by FX Motorsports. A lot of guys recommended this on forums. I mean, he ran one.
Some power.
Yeah.
I mean, people make like 500-600 and they're holding power for an eBay clutch. They're pretty decent.
Yeah, and I didn't need nothing crazy because this is just going to be getting kicked all the time. So, but yeah, I got some OEM hardware. Depending on where we are in this current video, I will have told you guys that I didn't have all the pieces, so that's why I wasn't planning on filming. Because I thought I did, then I didn't, because the transmission over there is missing some things and the shifter is missing some things. But we may have it situated. So he has another one of these. He has, this was his old ones. Now
girlfriend's got. Yeah. She's doing a manual swap too, so she's got all the parts as well on hand. So we're just gonna do a little exchange.
Yeah, because hers is waiting on the engine to finish getting built. While her engine's getting built, obviously she doesn't need the parts. I have all the OEM like new stuff on the way, but even with the expedited shipping, it's still 6 days out, assuming it ships on time. And the only pinch that I'm running into right now is I do have some work coming this weekend that needs a lift, which granted I could roll this around with or without the transmission. But the other issue is I gotta move shops in the next 2 weeks if the application gets approved today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow at this point because it's already late in the day. And I don't want to have this thing just kind of sitting and have to find a way to trailer it to the new shop. So that's why we're skedaddling and getting this thing going. But yeah, so we'll I don't know. You guys saw me take it apart in the last video if you watched that. I'm not going to go into detail on that, but we'll catch up when we have our normal camera. We can do some reassembly so I can, chop more of my finger off.
We'll get it done.
Yeah, it won't be too slow. The auto stuff was the hardest part, and then I can't reassemble the interior anyway because, I want to make sure. Well, I got to order the foam too. I did order a new shift boot, like the boot that goes over everything to plug up the holes, but I got to get like the little bits just because I don't want to melt myself because it's, Arizona summers plus transmission.
You can do after anyways from the top, so.
Oh, without the center console?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there we go. So, yeah, anyways, toodaloo. Clutch is all torqued down. Suppose I can take this bolt out so I do not forget it later. All that's really left back here is get the transmission put together. If I can get this bolt out, there we go. Yeah, get the transmission pieces put together with the throttle bearing and the fork and this little springy doohickey.
Where's your throttle?
I just had it in my hand. Where is the bearing? I literally just had it.
Oh, right there.
Oh, it blends in.
And that's the OEM one?
Yeah.
It's so hard to tell.
Yeah, no, I threw the cheap one away.
Okay. This goes.
Oh, we don't have to grease the shaft first on these
I just
ones?
want to see how it goes first.
Oh. Okay.
I think it goes like that. No, it goes this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these brass pivot pins, the OEM ones are actually plastic.
Really?
So when it's pivoting on here, they literally explode because all that force going against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so BMW guys, replace this.
Yeah, I've seen a few people recommend the steel ones, and some guys were like, oh, the steel, you know, chirps away at that, but then the brass fades away quicker than the steel, but then the plastic just explodes. And
yeah, it's all personal preference. The steel ones definitely eat through this. I've seen holes in these, so this is a little bit better on the.
Yeah, I mean, at least they won't randomly explode.
Yeah.
Ideally. All right, well, after 4 attempts at aligning the clutch, because the clutch alignment tool that they send you with these kits is really sloppy, and I think it might be more so the weight. So you got to like hold it up and stick your fingers in there while you snug it down. But thanks to Isaiah for happening to be in the area so we could have him bear hug the transmission.
We tried to put the transmission on like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
It didn't line up.
Yeah, but after we flipped the clutch disc around like we mentioned, you know, it worked. Well, actually, no, I made it short of that. So basically, essentially, normally for you guys that watch my videos regularly, the Hondas have the, you know, broadside facing that way. On these ones, it faces that way with the aftermarket clutches. You know, German things. But in the meantime, you know, these O2 sensors, these are cut. I think I mentioned that last time, but Mike there is going to tune those out for me. So we're just unhooking these, going to run that back up. But yeah, we got a manual transmission in the car. All that's left really is the shifter solutions and, you know, all the little details like, you know, the slave cylinder, the master cylinder, put the clutch pedal in, and, you know, the drive shaft. Yeah.
Reverse light switch, that way it doesn't leak transmission fluid when you turn it on.
Oh, yeah, that too, because this one, like I said, I bought this damn train for $1,200 all rebuilt, and they couldn't include such things as that. So, yeah, but it's so funny. Look at how clean this is, and then just look at the engine, and that's not painted black. That's just grease.
So is the front main seal and the other seal that goes in between.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Your experience with that on Miatas.
True. Well, my Miata was resealed, so I didn't
Well,
have...
yeah, you pulled the motor and resealed it. But Chris, if you didn't do that, it would leak from those same exact reasons.
True. Well, it doesn't help that the Miata block is painted black, though.
Yeah, no, it's deceivingly dirty on Miatas. You'll be working on it, you'll touch it, and then like you come up looking like you're a piece of coal.
What's funny is the quality and the wide angle is like, They turn the light on, and then you're just golden. Like milk chocolate.
I look like I eat too much milk chocolate.
But yeah, so we're making pretty good progress, honestly. I mean, yeah, we might even be able to have this, you know, running tomorrow night, honestly.
See if Amazon can one day ship you a reverse switch.
Well, if the dude has a manual pedal box, I'll see if he has one. Well, I'm sure,
Okay, well,
you know, it's a common enough part. It might be an auto parts store part. All right, so now that we're dealing with that, you know, it is the following day, and we got, you know, obviously we got the transmission up here. We're looking pretty solid. Still crazy to me just how clean the transmission is, and then just bam, dirt. But anyway, yeah, so the issue I have at the moment is the sensor port up there for the reverse switch. I don't have one. I have one on order. So in the meantime, I was able to find the thread pitch. It is a M12 by 1.5. So that's what this guy is, but this is a little too long. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to shave this down probably about half to 3/4 the length. I got a, you know, automotive type washer there, and then just to be extra safe, because I think the factory style sensor has a taper to it with a O-ring or something, I don't know. Pictures vary on Google, so I'm going to throw some Honda Bond on these seals, but I need to be able to fill the transmission because, you know, I'm hoping to be able to get this thing, you know, running and shifting. Well, I mean, it runs, but shifting on its own. So that's where this piece came in. So like I mentioned, I had the clutch line from Garagistic, which is right over here, but I was mistaken when I ordered this because there's 2 hard lines on these cars. One goes from the master cylinder and it runs down to right around here, or well, up there somewhere, and then there's that red line I just showed you, the Garagistic one, and that runs from here to like here type thing, and then from here to the slave is another hard line. So the issue with that is I don't have the OEM hard lines because, again, you know, I was sourcing parts. So that's where this piece comes in. This is the Chase Bays, you know, manual swap or manual E36 braided line conversion, whatever you want to call it. So this one should be the one we need. It's got the fitting for the master cylinder right here, and it's got the threaded flared end for the slave cylinder right there. Now that is good to go, but in the meantime I also have a new shifter piece to put on, which is where the lithium grease comes in, because, you know, shifters stop. Eventually I will be upgrading shifters, but in the meantime I figured a $6 ball in here. So for you Honda guys, You should be pretty familiar with this if you've never rebuilt your shifter before. This plastic bushing is going to be, you know, one of the main guys next to the U-joints in your shift linkage that causes that slop. So I'm going to go ahead, pull this apart. This is the bushing that goes on the car. Yeah, I'll replace this later. This one, you know, should work for now. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to re-grease this, put the new bushing in there that I have. I'm going to trim down this bolt, and we're going to get it put up in the car, and then I can go ahead and start doing the pedal stuff. So this is the clutch pedal assembly. Yeah, I have to use the automatic brake pedal for now because that's all I have, because I ordered one on eBay that's supposed to be a manual, and they sent me an automatic pedal. So now I have 2 automatic brake pedals. So there's a local guy that may have one, like a manual brake pedal. We'll see how hard this is once we get up there, but let's get to cutting, let's trim a bolt, and let's make it fit. Alright, so I threaded the bolt in as far as it would let me, and we're stuck right there touching something. So I'm going to go ahead, we're going to mark this bolt like that, and we're going to trim to that length. So because it's a German car is now the appropriate time to make the pun. My torque specs are good and tight. Shifter put together. Now we gotta lower the tail end of the transmission and get this put up on top. Alright, so everything else underneath here is pretty much good to go. As you saw, I just filled the transmission up, we got the drive shaft, all that's hooked up. But, you know, in the meantime, I gotta figure something out, because that guy, if you look, it's shooting right where the O2 sensors are, and you can see that it's already kind of started to crust up right there. And other thing of caution is there's a fuel filter right there. So, in the meantime, I just need some sort of pipes on this car because I have to order some headers. Well, I don't have to, but I'm going to order some headers for it. And then obviously I'm going to build a nice, pretty stainless exhaust because that's the point of the shop car. But in the meantime, I need to be able to drive this thing. So Mike thought it was a good idea to just do blast pipes out the side, and I got just enough mild steel piping laying around that I don't use because I don't sell mild steel exhaust anymore. So I'm gonna just use it up, put it to use, and kick it out. You can kind of see the side skirt has the, you know, elevation change, whatever you want to call that, like it rises up there. So we're gonna kick it out right around here. It's not gonna be pretty, it's just gonna be functional, but it, you know, it's gonna be loud as, you know, it's gonna be ignorantly loud, but at least for when I go to build the exhaust, I have 2 Civic Type R resonators in here that I forgot about, and so that'll be nice, you know, the FK8 one. So I'm gonna put those to use for the real exhaust. But in the meantime, you know, I got just enough piping here to make something work, and then I can just booger it up with the MIG welder. So let's do that. But otherwise, the only other things to do topside is just the clutch pedal stuff, and then he's got to tune in for the manual swap because this is a OBD2, I guess. The difference was on the OBD1s, you pull the chip in the ECU like I mentioned in the last video, but that's not the case on here. So let's make some nonsense. Okay, so I got most of the one pipe built. I'm gonna build the second one up to it because I want to at least, if I have to make it look like the dumbest thing I've ever built in my life, I at least want the tips to be even. So I'm gonna go ahead and sawzall the tips after it's all done, and I'm gonna, like, you know, probably brace this back here somehow. But meantime, I'm working on bringing this out the back side, or well, working on the second pipe. And as stupid as this is, it's coming together pretty decent. But yeah, like I said, guys, this is only temporary. Once I'm, you know, settled in, got a little extra money, I'm gonna buy some headers, I'm gonna buy all new material, make the nice, pretty stainless exhaust that you guys know that I make. But for now, you know, it's kind of fun to just screw things up.
We're gonna make it come out side exit, and
yeah, we're having it come out the side, and we're just gonna trim it with the body line.
yeah.
On to the last bit, and mind you, this has probably been like a 50-minute exhaust job. So,
There's so many pie cuts.
oh yeah. Woo! Right in the armpit.
Fine.
Yeah. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll weld them out, and then once I bolt them back up, then I'll put a plate attaching them. That way it doesn't screw with me trying to put them back on again, but that'll be cool. I just finished up chopping the tips off, and it really doesn't look that bad. Look at that. Like, especially, I mean, it does.
This
yeah.
angle looks pretty sick, like with the slant pipes and everything.
Yeah.
Gotta trust the process. I told you, I'm like, slant pipes, man.
Yeah, no, it's really not bad at all, especially with just being 2.5s. But, you know, I do wish they maybe it could have done them further back. But let's fire it up really quick. I just want to hear how absolutely obnoxious this is. Yeah, sounds like it needs a serpentine belt. But, I mean, it sounds like it did on the drive over, just now the sound is outside the car instead of underneath the car. So, I guess it's kind of a win for now. Got most of the pedal assembly in there. I'm just dealing with missing another clip. Because the way these things go together is just extremely silly to me. So this is your return spring. Now there's 2 different styles because we were just looking at both styles, and essentially these are the 2 styles. So you have
Right there.
yeah, so there's the diagram,
So this is the older style. It's got a longer piece on it.
which would be this.
Yeah, and it uses a different clip on the top to hold it in. And then this is a newer style with the shorter pieces on both ends, and that uses a pin on the top.
Yeah, so essentially what happens is this is supposed to ride inside of this like that, but there's a metal clip that helps seat it or something, and now I don't know why they changed it. Maybe it's a stability thing because there's supposed to be 2 of these on the newer version and they overlap each other like that and like that. So I'd imagine that's just a strength thing, like maybe these ones are prone to snapping over time. So it looks like I kind of got a mix match of things because this is what came on my pedal, this is what I thought I needed. So I'm just going to go through and run this one for now, and then I'll probably do some reading. I thought I saw a forum post about deleting this entirely and upgrading it to something else, so I'm going to read more into that. So I'm at this point now. This is the brake cylinder, you know, the reservoir. So it shares with the clutch, and you know, even though it's automatic, it already has the little bleeder nipple down here, or the feed nipple. So all you got to do is take a pair of, you know, wire cutters and cut the tip off. And I already got my hose ran right here from the master cylinder, and we're just gonna hook that right up. Oh, yep, she's pissing. Okay. Well, got everything done. Got the clutch bled. You know, we got the tune loaded up, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the tune's loaded up. Just to find out that the I don't even know what it's called. So
The pivot pin, if you order one, make sure it fits snugly in there, because some of them fit loose and it could make it fall out. This one, it fits super loose.
Yeah.
So I think the plastic ones, you almost have to hammer it in the hole, and it holds everything in.
Yeah.
This one just slides all loose. So.
yeah, so I think after my jobs tomorrow, I'm gonna see if Isaiah can come down and help me, you know, take this thing off again. I mean, thankfully they're pretty quick.
I think you should put like RTV or like some kind of like glue or something tacky just to hold it, the pin in position.
Maybe wrap it in like some electrical tape.
Yeah,
or something.
just yeah, that's a good idea. Shove it in there so it all stays together. Just
Yeah.
that way, if you do tilt the trans forward, it doesn't slip out, because it's only like that far before the pin can slip back out and turn the whole fork.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so it is, you know, 9 o'clock in the morning. The following day, I'm just gonna jump into this. So we'll see how long it takes. All right, so big shout out to Isaiah for coming in clutch, like always, with the transmission assistance. But I just also want to mention I used my credit card for the first time for the business to get some wobblies for this job, and then I also had to get an 18mm wrench because, you know, BMW things. But sure enough, right here you can see our fork has fallen off the pivot joint. So I got to pull this off, and I got to see if I can get that to sit more tightly in there. That's extremely inconvenient. Got some Honda Bond on the pin in there. I'm gonna let that cure for a few minutes, and now you can kind of see what I was talking about, this peephole right there. So now you can see the bolt with the Honda Bond on it, if it'll focus in. Yeah, right there. So now you know, or now I know, I guess, to look for that when we go to put this back together. You can see right here on the pressure plate where the, well, I guess without the light maybe. Yeah, you can see those grind marks where the clutch slave cylinder was, you know, touching when I was pushing on it, because it was missing the fork. So, yeah, quite interesting. Okay, well, the serpentine belt is absolutely trashed, but it's running. My clutch pedal return spring already broke because I still don't understand how it goes together, and the one that I have was just dry anyway. So get a new one of those, but for now the clutch is, you know, it's working, and the exhaust is very loud. Well, like you guys saw, the car is finally running and driving, hey, under its own power. So next, you know, next order of operations is going to be, you know, it needs brakes, it needs bushings, it needs coilovers, it needs to have the interior deep cleaned and put back together. I need to figure out a shifter knob because this one's missing it. You know, I need to figure out the clutch spring situation, and then I need to source a manual brake pedal. Lots of little things, but honestly, I feel like with about like $3,000–4,000 after this point, this car is gonna be so sick. But I am beyond exhausted. It's been a long, hot day. You know, we got the transmission dropped and put back together, even with, you know, some other issues running. Have to get tools, you know, all within like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I'm stoked on that. You know, I did some work today. Just had 2 jobs. I'm tired, guys. So I'm gonna end the video up here. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, hopefully by now you've considered subscribing. If you ever want to help support the channel any further, you know, I've got a P.O. box you can send me things to. You know, I've got fan art from you guys before. I've got a few goodies. You know, I love that so much. It's so cool. I also have, you know, merch in the Big Cartel. I'll be making more for the new name. for the shop. And I just hope you guys enjoyed it, and do what you love, think about the rest. Thanks for spending some time out of your day here with me. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.